If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem, it's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises, and you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another special edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. Brian, you're still in Tucson.
I'm still here.
You're still here after all these weeks of this episode airing between the last time that we had one where you were on.
Yeah, we didn't record.
Brian doesn't schedule these. I do. So the joke I was going to make is you're back. You came back 2 weeks later because people loved it so much. But we're too honest with you to do that. We're just recording another special episode here because we talk a lot about diet and nutrition and exercise here on the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. And I think it's important for blood sugar, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
But I think one of the strongest predictors of long-term health is something that isn't talked about enough is relationships. So Brian, as we said, is here in Tucson, Arizona. He's from Cincinnati. We can't assume everyone knows our whole backstory, but that's not close. And so we're here in person. It's really special doing this in person, right? Yeah. There's a different energy.
It is. Definitely different energy.
Yeah. He didn't say better, folks. He did say different.
Better energy.
Yeah. We normally do it over Zoom, which is what a blessing to live in a world where we can do this over Zoom.
Yeah.
And bring people that really, and we're not just saying this, we love hearing the feedback from people who've listened, improved their sugar, improved their lives, improved their health. Like what a blessing to be able to create this electronically, virtually, via distance. But having you here is awesome because we get to connect in person. And I believe in energy. And Brian gets to come hang out with my kids. We went for a hike. We saw some fun desert creatures. He gets to see how I live. So when he's like, hey, Cory, can you record or edit this episode? And I'm like, I can't, I'm busy. He understands why when I'm juggling, coaching basketball, baseball, cooking meals, doing laundry. I'm a real man's man. Pulling weeds.
Pulling weeds, doing more pull-ups than I am.
Yeah. Well, that one, you all knew I did more. Yeah, we got to work out together this morning. And Brian realized he has to up his game. Yeah. So, but the truth is, like, the research shows that when we're lonely, there's worse health outcomes. We have higher mortality, worse mental health, right? This is not fun to talk about, but it's the reality. And really, since 2020, I think we've had a lot of loneliness.
Yeah, there's a loneliness epidemic right now, especially for men. And I was listening to something really, I'm not even going to bring it up because it's just so depressing, but men are just, let's just say, struggling and we need it more for some reason. It's just, it hits us harder. And so I'm just really grateful to have you as my friend because I did lack a really solid friendship for a long time growing up in my high school years. And it was just something that was really hard for me to get through high school without a solid friend. I wish we were in the same high school, but who knows, like what happened? You probably would have beat me out on the pitching.
No, because I would have taught you how to pitch and you would have beat me out and I would have been, no, I think that also, I mean, we met each other at the right time in life. I talk about that with my wife. She and I met each other at the right time. We joke about the different pictures of us in the past, but to circle back to like the loneliness and men struggle, women, every group has its struggles, but I think that men were not supposed to talk about our feelings. And we think we can go one man wolf pack and do it all ourselves. And Brian is seeing why I cannot do it all by myself. And we are in the middle of life right now. I have aging parents. I have young kids. I feel this right now. This is going to be a little vulnerable, but I'm not really providing much for my family as in a traditional male role. I left my pharmacist job a few months ago, and it's doing this right now is amazing. It's awesome. We're building something that I believe in. And also my wife is the
sugar mama.
The sugar mama. I would say breadwinner, but it's a diabetes podcast, so we'll call her the steak winner of the place. And amazing woman. Great to have her as a relationship, but it can be hard sometimes. And I know that Brian and I started this podcast because we would both go for walks early in the morning. And you also get to hear my dog barking because I'm not
Yeah.
recording in a normal spot. Maybe you're not hearing that, but we are.
Yeah.
And it started because we would talk on the phone, not just about diabetes, about our lives and how freaking hard it is.
Yeah. Have we talked about the story of how we met? Did we?
Yeah, ironically, you're in person, but we met virtually.
We met online. So I ironically heard him on a podcast that I was getting to prepare to be a guest on, and I just picked his episode. I have no idea why. Just when I landed on, I think I saw a comedian. I'm like, well, let's see if this guy's funny. I listened to it. I thought
was disappointed in the comedian part.
Yeah, disappointed in the comedian part. No, I thought he was just sounded like a really awesome guy, and I'm like, this is just gonna be awkward. But I'm gonna reach out to him on LinkedIn. And I think your first message to me was, "Do I know you?"
Yeah.
I think that was it. And you're like, I'm like, no, but I heard you on a podcast, and then we just started to chat, and yeah, it's been
6 years.
6 years.
It was about this time in 2020.
Was it?
As we record in March of 26.
In 2020.
Yeah, we started becoming friends when it was cool to become virtually friends.
Oh, cool. Well,
yeah,
that makes it better.
And so, we've got to a place where I have visited Brian in Ohio, alone and with my family. We've met on vacation at the beach. We're going to the beach later this summer. We share in our lives' triumphs, our tragedies, our sadnesses, navigating through sports. We talk about that maybe more than blood sugar.
I text you more than my wife.
It's samesies.
Yeah.
My wife's not a texter though. She doesn't. Her family doesn't listen to this, so I can say it. But they text there's the group chats on the in-law side is out of control, and I'm not here to add to that sort of traffic. So
I don't add much to the traffic in mine either.
Who can relate out there, right? But relationships improve health. I would say, Brian, I'm gonna fix that. The right relationships improve health because the right relationships, friends, family, support, mentors, are going to help you move more, hang around people that are on the same path as you. I mean, this one I know all about. Help you laugh more. Laughter is legitimately good for you.
Yeah, we were cracking up before.
Yeah, and now we're all business.
My cheeks were literally hurting from smiling and laughing so much. Was just it's a real thing. If you are feeling down ever, just try smiling for 60 seconds and then just let the happiness, the dopamine chemicals kick in, because it is a true thing. Fun fact, you smile, your muscles, whatever they do, they contract, and then you actually get some release of some good positive chemicals in your brain. So
we did a photo shoot before this. We're going to have some awesome pictures to revamp our podcast and our socials with, and not to say the best material was left off the microphone, but it was some good stuff.
Yeah.
It was more comedy than diabetes.
Yeah.
So they help you manage stress.
Yeah. But we've also talked about in episodes prior how sometimes a relationship can be the source of your problem.
Yeah, they can add stress or help you manage it. I can say this: my wife can only take so much venting from me because she has 3 little kids that vent at her. So sometimes I'm just like, hey Brian, I gotta talk. Dudes don't normally do that. It's kind of fun it's hard to have a time-stamped episode, but Scrubs has been rebooted as we record this, and seeing the friendship there on that show is just like it's fictional, but it's cool. So
Eagle. Just gonna do it.
I almost did. Yeah, I think Brian and I could handle each other's weight for now, at least. And then a good friend is going to help you honestly be real with you and stay accountable. Like a good friend is not going to just be like, it's all right, man. No matter you're hurting your health and your family, keep it up. No, like a good friend's going to keep you accountable. And I think that's something that we do a good job with each other as well. We're as great as we are very different personalities.
We are.
I am much more by the book, punctual, organized. And Brian is just like an idea man, creative, live life a little more in the moment, not afraid to get to the airport a little bit later. He was telling me about when he got to the airport, and I was like freaking out. But
I wanted to see my kid one more time before I left.
No, that's great. It's noble. It's good.
But then here's the funny story about this. So driving to the airport, I thought I was gonna be able to hit a ferry to make it to the airport quicker. I'm like, I'll still have time. And it's the middle of the day. Cincinnati is on a huge airport. Drive there. The ferry's closed for some reason. I don't know why. Their website is still just outdated, so they don't have any live updates. I checked it beforehand, didn't mention anything about it being closed, or I just missed that detail. But get there, and there's a guy who's also trying to cross. He thought there was a bridge there. His GPS told him there was a bridge there, and I was like, nope, we gotta just drive all the way around and do a loop, and we made it to the airport. Thankfully, in time.
Quick pause for a second. If you're finding the podcast helpful and you want more practical ideas to help move your blood sugar in the right direction, come follow us on Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners. We share quick tips, food and exercise insights, and blood sugar mistakes people don't even realize they're making. It's also where we can answer your questions directly in the DMs. So if you want more help between episodes, Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners is the best place to find us. And when you follow us, make sure to say hi. All right, back to the show.
Long story short, yes, I did.
And he was in the TSA line with you.
Yeah, he was in the TSA.
You
line.
missed the best part of the
story.
story.
Best part of the story. We saw each other.
Good friends keep you accountable, folks.
I did. I thought maybe this was going on too long, and this was not even pertinent.
It was great that he went on long and didn't even give you the good part at the end, and I had to do that. This is again why we're a good pair. So let's move on here. Okay, modern life is designed to ruin our relationships because we work isolated in a way. We get our dopamine from screens, and we have really busy schedules, and so it's no surprise that people have fewer close relationships.
Yeah,
and I can't tell you the number of times in clinic with clients that a huge problem is that they're all alone and they have too much time to fill up by themselves. So they fill a void with food and mindless entertainment. Yeah. So
I was on the phone with someone just the other week trying to help them and get to get to the bottom of what is going on with their blood sugar. And he just straight up told me he's bored and he just is stuck in his home a lot and he just eats out of boredom. And it made me so sad to hear that, but it was just the reality of the situation. And yeah, it's a real problem to know that I learned this in my schooling because I'm the health coach. You're not. I like piggybacking off my health coaching guys.
You're right. I only have 2 board certifications and I'm a certified metabolic health practitioner. And you did a residency, right?
No,
and I actually am residency trained. So what the crazy thing is Brian probably has more practical information and I have more credentials. Yeah. Again, we make a great pair. I bring the credentials, he brings the practicality, and I bring the laughs.
I learned how to help people emotionally and fill in their spiritual needs and the other food. What I was getting to is there's this concept of primary food and secondary food. And so if you think of a circle, a big circle, and you split it up into pie, like a bunch of pie pieces, whatever it is. And there's like a bunch of different categories, but amongst the categories of your primary food. So this is like relationships, your work, the friendships you have. I guess that's relationships, tomato. What am I doing here? I don't have the pie in front of me, so I can't name everything. And I'm clearly out of practice with remembering the whole primary food list, but
do you even call yourself a health coach,
environment.
Brian?
I can't. I can. The point being is that primary foods are just as important, if not more important, than the actual food you put in your body. This one stuck out to me, the metaphor of you could have the healthiest secondary food diet, like eating. They mentioned kale. I'm not. Why they mentioned kale? I don't know.
It's the go-to health halo vegetable.
Okay.
Ugh, I don't like the taste of
terrible.
Kale. Yeah, it's full of oxalates, but
it's not great. So anyway, the point being is you could eat a bunch of insert your favorite health food here, but then have just a terrible home life.
No purpose.
Yeah, no purpose.
No friends.
Stressed at work, and just be completely sick because it just is about so much more than the food you put into your body. And I would say probably 100% of the time, if you're looking at a gap in your nutrition, you're like, man, what is going on? I just can't stick to this. Then I would say there's always a trail back to some kind of gap in your primary food. And if you work on that, a lot of times that secondary food, what you're putting in your body, will just correct itself. So
yeah, when you said primary food, I got confused, and then I now realized the food is a metaphor for the other stuff.
Yeah, food is it's what you
I'm just summarizing in a way in case you got lost there. So because I think what you're saying here, Brian, is that health isn't just our macros. It's not just our workouts. It's not even the lab work. It's also the friendships we have, the community that we have, that we build, and the connections that we have. Yeah. Because sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is spend time with people you care. And like, I'm going to use a terrible example of secondary food here. Oftentimes I'll get together with our neighborhood, and Brian has actually hung out with some of my neighbors. They're amazing people. Don't think they're listeners, but if you are, shout out to my crew. But a lot of times it's around food and we're having a celebration. And I never think twice about the food that we have together because it's made with love for each other. It's because the healthy thing is spending the time together.
Yeah.
So normally at the end of an episode, Brian, we say that if you heard this and you think of someone that it could help, send it to them. I don't want you to do that this episode if you're listening. I want you to think of someone who needs connection. And if that someone is you, reach out to someone. Reach out to us. Send us a message if you got no one else. Because that's how important connection is. That's why Brian got on a flight and left his family with young kids to come out here to hang out, to build that in-person relationship. And that's why I'm going to see him this summer twice, probably. It's the fun of it being here is we're planning it. Yeah. So if you love these in-person episodes, again, we'll start a Patreon to fund the private jet to get us on. And the jet, here's the thing. We don't have to fly to each other's places. We just have to get to one place, get on the private jet and record, do like a 2-hour flight. We can knock out a few episodes on the private jet. We don't even have to go to the other places where they are. Yeah. You know, Brian, think about that. It's just a mobile podcast studio.
Oh, wow. I like that idea. Do you think there'd be a lot of noise from the jet for the podcast?
I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
I think that, I haven't thought that far through.
Wait, why are we both on the jet though? Because
it's fun.
But you're flying to me, we're recording there. But then if we're both on the jet,
I don't know how this would work. I'm just saying that we could fly to a neutral location, get on a jet for a day, and come back in the same day. Like we both fly to Houston, get off the plane, get onto a private plane, circle Texas for like 3 hours, get back on the plane and fly home. And we're gone for a day. It's like a long day at work. It's like a long shift at the hospital.
Yeah.
Boy, this really went off the rails. Reach out to someone you care about.
Yeah.
Find a relationship. And we appreciate you listening. And we'll get back to the normal Zoom episodes. And while we love these in person, we love doing the Zoom because we get to bring this to you. So thanks for listening. If you know what, if you can leave us a little rating, that would be great. Ratings and reviews are great. Send us your questions, send us your comments. We're always collecting for Rapid Fire Friday. But until next time, we'll see you on a private jet or on Zoom. You have to listen to find out.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.